I'm scooting along through spring, checking out the windows to see how much mowing I have to do. A lot. Waging war on sugar ants, paper wasps, and baby skunks. And just getting started on my seasonal job. And what happens? I get this in the mail. And what is it? A notice from my town's tax department. My annual tax bill? Nope. Something new. No. I'm a senior. I'm budget challenged. Don't do anything that meddles with my money. This is my story today, and it didn't turn out as I expected. Hi there, I'm Judith, and Brecky is right beside me. I started this channel because I own a little house and I love to talk about it. Today, I'm one of a little group about issues that have to do with money for seniors. But before I get into it, please subscribe, and I promise you it's tax-free. So too is that notification bell, which will help you out as you follow along with this story. And the like button, it's tax-free too, and it really helps me out. Let me get started. I go to my mailbox one day last week, and I have this in the mail. I look at it, and it says Assessor's Office. When I see that, I know it's not good news. It's a disguised form of how much taxes you're going to pay. And I see notices from them, and I think, oh, the amount of money I've spent over there. You discover things like this when you're building a little house. Just money. That's all they want. And the assessor's office, we know that's a disguise for taxes, yes? It's not the time of year to get a notice about what your taxes are. I thought, well, maybe they're jumping the gun. They're just sending this around early. No. For starters, it wasn't on the right color paper. I think they use blue for taxes. They should use green because that's all they want, greenbacks. So I open it up, look at this thing, and what does it say? It says, reappraisal of your property. And I'm thinking, oh, maybe it's gone up $1,000 or $2,000. Happens every year. A little bit tick up in the property values, a little bit more taxes. And I'm looking at this and it says, my property value has gone up 43%. 43%. We're talking thousands. And I'm thinking, no, I can't pay more taxes. I don't have the budget. I'm a senior. Humble income. I can't manage a whole lot of changes in my monthly outlay. Plus, it so happened this spring, for the first time I've ever been in this house, I ran out of utility credits to cover my heat in the winter. So I had a little bit of an outlay, by that I mean $100 in a month, that I didn't expect in order to stay warm over the winter. Thank goodness the credits have kicked in again. Sunshine be near you, save me money. At any rate, on with my story. So I'm looking at this thing, and I just can't believe what I'm seeing. And naturally, my brain is cranking on why this has to not be serious, has to not be true, and couldn't possibly be right. And at the same time, I'm thinking, how am I going to manage to pay more taxes? How is that going to happen? I guess I have to work more hours. Now, it says right here, something to the effect that this has no relationship to taxes. Fat chance. We know those town hall folks. They always think about money. That's what they do. No relationship to taxes. I'll believe that when I see it. We know what town hall is all about. Every time I go there, I'm spending money. A dog license, driveway permit, permits. I was up to my earlobes when I was building this house. And then there were copies of plats and covenants, nickel and diming me everywhere. So I know those town hall folks. It's a money thing. So I see this. This has no relationship to taxes. And I don't believe it. I mean, would you? And me, I'm a senior. I'm on a humble budget. Every time someone starts talking about money, especially when it comes in an official envelope, I figure it's a personal attack on my purse. Every penny counts. I began to plot and plan, visualize my approach to town hall. How was I going to handle this? I keep reading. Thankfully, there's an appeal process, and it will be quick. I'll get 15 minutes to present my case, and it'll be in 2 weeks. The town wants this done. I start planning my argument. This had better be good. Strong visuals, elegant presentation, fact-oriented, gotta be well prepared. Heck, I might even do a slide presentation, even though I've never done one before. And what will I wear? Tidy casual. I no longer have a suit, thank goodness. And my hiking boots are pretty much it, but they'll do. My mind is a whirl. The challenge is on. Yep, you almost had a whole mini-series on Judith Goes to War with Town Hall. Whoa, Nelly. I calm myself down just a little bit, not the whole 9 yards. Get myself a cup of tea and have a little sit. It does a body good. And as I'm sitting, I had a little thought. How about I contact a neighbor? She's well connected. She's an ex-politician. She knows everything. Let me find out what's in the rumor mill. So I write her a little email note. She's not so great on the phone. And I say, hey, listen, my house value has gone up like 40%. How about yours? And she didn't answer that question. Instead, she came back at me and she said, well, the little house opposite mine, it sold for $300,000 a couple of years ago. Well, I knew that, but this upped the challenge, because what was my mind doing now? As I thought about it, I'm generating 1,000 reasons why it couldn't be like that little house, which is just up the road. It's a bigger house. It has a cement foundation. It's on a dead-end road. So many things I could throw out there. So yes, this brief little email exchange with the neighbor upped my cerebral energy and my wish to do combat. I write back to that neighbor explaining that I plan to appeal. And all this time, every little tidbit of information that is offered to me becomes part of my pitch about why the assessor's office couldn't possibly be raising the value of my house. Because we all know that means taxes. And I don't know about you, but I can't afford new taxes. So yes, my brain is working, and then I decide I'm going to contact neighbor number 2. Now, neighbor number 2 lives up the street from me. Her house is a little bit bigger, but she has the same builder, and hers is 2 years newer. So I contacted her, and she hadn't received any kind of notice and didn't know anything about it. Never heard of such a thing. Of course, this makes me feel I'm being singled out. All this time I'm building my case, digging up old files, structuring my presentation. What items should I prioritize? What is secondary? What are my top 3? I gotta be super organized, and I've never done a slide presentation. No matter. I'll handle it. I hear once more from neighbor number 1, and she says she belongs to a listserv for the town, and evidently there's some kind of link to property valuations. I don't know what listserv she's talking about, but I do capture the idea that there's a list for new property evaluations. So I go clicking around, as one does. I go clicking around, and I click, and I find this list. What do you know? The town reappraised every single property in the town limits. I was shocked. I never heard of such a thing. Serves me right. I never watch the news. I'm so fed up with it. So yes, of course, I gotta click that. It took me a while to kind of figure it out, and I really wasn't quite sure it was even possible for a town to reappraise every single property and or present a public list of the value of every single property just at a link. I was quite wowed at what was before me. I didn't believe it until I started poking around. And my eyeballs fell out. Well, they didn't really, but you get the idea. I'm looking at these property valuations, and I'm looking, and I can look up all my neighbors. I can look up all the rich people in town. They got it the worst. I can look up everyone I know, the homes on the walks I go on every day. It was so fun. And since it was just a standard database, you could sort this list into all kinds of things. By name, by lot number, by the percentage increase in the valuation. Some folks were going up 300%. And I'm looking at it, 150%, 98%, 89%, 200%. 163%. On and on and on like that. The light is beginning to dawn. My crazed brain, thinking, planning this presentation, it's starting to recede. My blood pressure is going down. I realize I have one of the lowest valuation increases in the entire town. And guess what? I couldn't cancel my appeal fast enough. If my property went up 43%, and that put me in a panic, the town average was 82% increase. Yeah, but what does all that mean? That means the tax department down at Town Hall, they just won the lottery, yeah? They just boosted their tax base over 80%. Because they do stuff like that. Then I started to think. And I did something I hadn't thought of before. What did I do? My reappraisal notice, I turned it over so I could read the back. And there's a minor line item here. It says, the town-wide average increase in value was a factor of 1.82. It continues, this does not mean that your taxes are increasing by this factor. I suddenly got it. All of these properties around me that have increased enormously in value, I'm now a much smaller piece of the whole pot. And if the town has to meet its budgets, that would mean I would be paying a smaller piece of the whole pot than I used to be paying. This had better work out in lower taxes. Stay tuned. And my neighbor number 2, when I sent her the list of all the property valuations in the whole town, said exactly what I thought. Crazy. Has this kind of thing ever happened to you? Where you're given a little bit of financial information, and because you're on a humble budget, a teeny thing can seem enormous. And you can start spinning your head on how you're going to appeal and how it's not possible and how you can't deal with it and you must be getting singled out, on and on and on like that. And yeah, your brain is going and your blood pressure is rising. Has that ever happened to you? I'm kind of wowed at how quickly it happened to me. Have you ever had an experience where your property has been reevaluated and maybe your taxes go down? This is what we all hope for, yes. But I think the bottom line here is that someone who's on a humble budget, like many of us are, we're very sensitive to slight changes in a financial situation. Now, this is the first video in a little mini-series I have about exactly that. Areas where seniors are sensitive budget-wise. Subscribe so you can see those follow-up stories. And I love to see likes. Share your thoughts in the comments and let me know if you like this kind of story. It helps me plan for my channel. And that's enough for me for now. We'll talk soon, all right? See you then.